Okay, the music's faded, the lights are on, cameras are rolling. We're ready for day 2. Good morning and welcome back. Another great breakfast, another great event last night. Did everyone have a good time last night? You can applaud if you had a good time. All right, that was truly amazing. Really appreciate the effort that went into that. And speaking of effort, we've got our partners and sponsors to thank, which I think we're going to throw that slide right up there. And and particularly, I think most of you know our team at Southeast Conference, Dan and Juliana, Kaid, and Haley, sitting back there at our booth there. This is really one of the most exciting parts of the Build Back Better Regional Challenge grant that we have from EDA. Shirley Kelly was here quite a bit yesterday. I think she'll be back today, but we certainly appreciate all the partners we have on that project and the different ways that we see that expressed through the agenda as those objectives are being explored and developed. And so we're very pleased to see that happening. One of the biggest successes that, in my mind, is just changing the way we engage our rural communities and the opportunities that we have for the Alaska Native participation and leadership as we continue to develop these resources in our natural areas. And the liaison program that we have, the governance body that oversees the execution of the program, has been real meaningful for me personally, and I think is going to add good value to this project, but it also informs the way that we hope that the federal government and state agencies will interact with our rural communities and Alaska Native leadership. So, and there's a segue from that into our next keynote speaker, because Keolani Booth is one of those liaisons working with Ecotrust and Spruce Root. He's there. He's served on Metlakatla's Natural Resources Committee. He's just on the forefront. He's a bridge builder. He's an innovative thinker. He serves on his community city council and part of the leadership there that I've really enjoyed working with over many years. And so please welcome to the podium Mr. Keolani Booth. Which one of these things do you want?
That's fine.
Yep. Go for it.
Hello, everybody. In Metlakatla, we have a saying, "Waiwa." That means "let's go." So I think that's why they got me up here this morning. I've done this in Maine as well, and we need a lot of excitement. There is a lot of excitement going on in our state, and when this AMA started, I was here with everybody, Missy and Robert, and we were in a little room, probably about that corner. So it's really great to see how it's grown, and look forward to more in the future. So I've got First Nations perspective, past, present, and future of Alaska's ocean resources. So a little bit about myself and my background. All my life I've collected the seaweed. See the seaweed here in the picture? That came home with me, went into our oven, and feeds family members and elders, and it's been something that's gone on pretty much my entire life. So, is there what's that? This one? Okay. Yes, basically for time immemorial. If you look at the picture up on the right, those are seaweed cakes basically, and those are in squares like that. So you put them into a bentwood box, and these are things that we've done for a long time, and not really done anymore, but we've known these things for a long time on how to live with nature, live with our ways that we have, and it's something that we've it's always been a part of us. It's really sacred to us, and it's something that we've lived with for a lot of years. So it's really something special. It's very, very special to us. And as we move into the things that we're doing, we're very cautious when we see what's going on. So, you know, we're always there. So here's our traditional foods are sacred, near and to our hearts and a part of our existence. Our food systems have survived for millennia, I mean longer, thousands of years. These are things that were brought down. Our process and use of our oceans is sacred. So like, you know, some of these things with the seaweed, I had my grandmother, I don't know how this was, but we had, when the skunk cabbage would open up, she'd bring out the pillowcases and say, okay, it's time to go out. I had no idea why that was, but we did it. And it's you know, it's been something that's passed down to us for a long, long time. So we're very happy to be a part of what's going on. So, you know, as we see what's going on now, you know, the herring fishery that they've had in Sitka, you know, it's been hard to see what's happened to the ocean and the use of it here in Alaska. And, you know, we really want things to change. You know, as we see things as well, too, we've got food processors that are leaving. It's hard. It's hard to see those things. And, but yeah, it's, you know, the price collapse that's gone on, and it's just a tough thing to see as First Nations peoples, you know, because we've seen these things come in, and they're, you know, it's tough for our way of life, you know. We need a better way. We need a better way to work together, and you know, drawing on the past that we've had, I know that with our First Nation peoples, we've traded back and forth. You know, the lines were blurred. There was no BC, Alaska. You know, we've always worked together, and it's time for us now to get together and work together with all of you. It's I know we're all here for a great reason, you know, and there's a big wave coming, and if we do things correctly, and we, you know, rely on each other, that it would be great, because, you know, I've talked with a lot of you scientists here, a lot of people in the room, and everybody's trying to work towards the same goal. It's great, you know, and but we're you know, we're very cautious, and the First Nations peoples, the way, you know, for myself, you know, being in this space with you guys, I was curious right off the bat. So I was in the room with everyone right there to see what's going on, to see what we can do, and bring this new industry into the future. You know, these are things that really can, if we work together, you know, feed the nation and start a new way for life for everybody. And but there's a lot of challenges. You know, there's the you know, the AOA that we have. There is some tension, I gotta admit that, with the Native community, but we'll get through those things. We just want, you know, just want to be included with what's going on, and we hope for that. So, you know, so here's the question: can our traditional ancestral stewardship practices provide a blueprint for balance in subsistence and commercial uses of ocean resources to build up Alaskan coast? I think so, because we can draw on what our people have done in this area. We've been here for thousands of years, and we bring the same food systems. You know, as you can see back here in this picture, those are passed down. Those are old ways for our people. You know, my grandmother's grandmother, you know, cooked these foods the exact same way for us, except for the one up in the left corner, that's Chex Mix. So we've moved ahead a little bit, you know. But these are, you know, these are things that we, it's a part of our body, part of our food system. You know, we collect seaweed in the spring. You know, we go and get the herring eggs. These are things that are passed down to us, and it's in our bones. Like, I know before it's even the time of the month or whatever, I know when seaweed's coming. I start getting excited. I start getting excited for that time of year, Start looking at the tide book, you know? And it's a very, very exciting time. And we go out in the ocean and we see these things. But, you know, right now, these things are, you know, for us, we feel not just the seaweed, but the fishing and all the different things that we have, we feel are in danger. And I know, you know, working with all of you, there's a lot of caring there. There's a lot of, you know, you guys want to be here. We live here in Alaska. You've got buy-in, I've got buy-in, so we need to work together. And it's going to be my job as your Regional Mariculture Catalyst to connect you with the tribes, to connect you with people so we can all feel better about what we're doing. But it's going to take something on both sides, some trust, a lot of trust. On your side and our side. You know, it's a tough job in the forefront here, I got to admit. There's not a lot of trust from the Native community. And being included in a lot of the things we do, and not just asked, and then we move on, because that's happened with us before, a lot. So please forgive us if we're cautiously, you know, not trusting about it. But those things we can work on, and I'm going to try to take this time to do that. With this EDA funds, you know, we've only got till 2026. We've got to all work together to make sure we do something about these permits getting out faster. You know, I don't want to be out here selling snake oil. I'm your catalyst. I'm a liaison. I'm supposed to go out here and tell people that they can get a permit and get in the water. So it's going to take more than the EDA funds. $49 million isn't enough to get this whole thing going. We've all got to really admit that. And we've got some issues to work on for the permitting, but I think we can do it. I'm really positive and I really have good thoughts about what's going to happen, because there's a lot of good people in this room that really want to make it work and make it so we can all prosper, because we don't want these kinds of things. I don't want to be a part of something that's going to rape the land and take something and a company takes off and see ya, sorry, you know. We don't want that. We live here. This is us. We're Alaskan. We're First Nations peoples. And we're a different kind of people than the rest of this country. So we can do this. So, do I believe ancestral stewardship practices can work for a blueprint? I think so. In Metlakatla, what we've done is, you know, generosity is at the forefront of everything. It gets me social buy-in in my community, and in this industry, it can get social buy-in with the rest of the state and the people working here. You know, the way I've grown up, you're generous, and you get those karma credits back, you know, and then you expect nothing. You expect nothing from these things. So here you show we have like, this is last year, we have a herring giveaway. We do this every year. It was a hard season. How much we distribute to each member will be based on the amount we were able to gather. We get as much as we can. We try to rally as much money as we can to do this. And it's not buying the eggs from the neighboring communities, because we got our eggs from Prince of Wales. But, you know, it's something that's near and dear to us when we know that we need it for our health, we need it for our sanity to have these foods and these things that we have. It's a very big part of our life to have these things. And so, step back a little bit when a First Nations person and Native here in the community is angry or, you know, comes at you with anything. It's just we've got a lot of years, thousands of years that we're worried about. We're worried about keeping this way of life. So here, this is a distribution that we did last year. We're probably going to do the same thing again this year. We worked with some First Nations people on the Prince of Wales, and this is about $50,000 worth of herring eggs. We've got about 700 homes in Metlakatla, many elders. Most of our community is elders, and we do what we can to take care of them. And we don't matter what our bottom line is, we take care of each other. And that's what we need to do out here. What I want to do here and help everyone do is, I'm not just saying my community, there's a lot of communities like mine where we take our bottom line and we throw it out when we think about the people that we care about. And if you care about being in Alaska, these are things that we need to do. We need to think like this. on a state level. So like Metlakatla, I'm part of our council. We did this with the herring eggs. This is the kind of thing that the state should do as well. We need to be more giving to our people so we stay here. There's a mass exodus going on in Alaska. It has been happening for the past few years. We're trying to build economies like this for that reason, to keep people here. So, as you can see here, this is many times a year we do this. This is either herring eggs or salmon or, whatever. And they do the same exact thing in Ketchikan at the same time. They do it in Prince of Wales. And I don't know, they probably do it, in some of the other native communities going up the panhandles too as well. And it's really nice. It gives everybody a big boost, and they bring these things home, they have them, and they're very, very appreciative of what they get, and they in turn support us in what we're doing. So when we bring projects to them, we bring things that we want to do, they're on board because of our behavior with them. So those are things we have to think about in this state. And our First Nation peoples have a way forward. You can look to us. We've done this for thousands of years. We've kept these resources good for all of you to start doing what you're doing. And we want to be a part of it with everyone. And that's what I'm going to be out here, I'm going to be out here for, I work for Ecotrust and in Southeast Sustainable Partnership with them through the AMA. I'm going to be out here, so I'm the one you can rely on to, if you've got questions or if you need connections, I'm going to be here for you. So, how can, also with a traditional native socioeconomic practice in mariculture business. So what I have here is for a seaweed harvest. So one plan with your seaweed harvest, and we could talk about this with our spatial planning and all those things, that when I go out on a seaweed harvest, I know that I have a canoe. So there's seaweed all over out where I'm at. So I have a canoe. I have the ability. The elder or someone else that doesn't have that, I'm going to leave what's back here on the beach for those who can walk to it. I'm not going to take it all up because I have a canoe. And I go out and I get it where, I go out and I go to where my abilities can take me out there to do that. So how can we think about that on a grand level for the state? It means the community members here, if they're limited on their funds, let's keep those areas in those communities where they can get to it. And those who can afford to be further out and do those things and get those things out further, then let's think about that. Those are things that, save these areas for these community members. And when that's getting your social buy-in, So these are things we can think about. The hunting parties, all the gathering together. So that's having this togetherness to where you don't leave anybody out. The hunting parties happen in the winter for a reason. They get those proteins to everybody that needs it. So we use those things. Cedar collection for weaving also. These are things that can go into our programs, these ideas and the things that we've done all throughout time. Let's think like that and bring those into the way we're doing things. So we can always have this. We can always have these things because the practices of the West that have always been there aren't working. They're just not working. We're watching people walk away from Alaska and we're holding the bag. Infrastructure on the coast that's not being used. They're selling it. This is tough. And then respecting the needs of nature. Nature gives us what we have, and we need to respect that. And there's multitudes of ways that we can have long conversations about all the ways we can do a lot of this stuff. But including our First Nation ways in the practices that we have, in the things that we're doing to do this, so we can have it for 1,000 years. So you can talk, your grandkids can talk about what you did in this room if it was remembered. That they have those things now. So those are things we can talk about. And then there's also cooperative business models. We can't work in a silo. It's everybody working together. There's a lot of people that can't afford to go out there and do this with the kelp. And there's markets out there that need lots of kelp. And we need to be a part of those things. You're going to hear about marketing here in a little while. And some of these places are they're needing tons and tons of material. Is that coming from one company, or is it coming from a cooperative of, great Alaskans in different companies that work together to bring these things forward? That way, companies can't just walk away, because we don't walk away. We don't walk away from our home. But this is just an example of a business model used for some of the farms down south. I mean, we could talk about these things all day. And, I really want to have those conversations. I'm going to be having these conversations. They're going to be tough conversations for me going into these Native communities. So I'm going to need all of you, everyone here. And this is only way we can work together. I was recently last week on Prince of Wales, and I hold these people dear to my heart. There's Tony Peel down in Heidelberg, takes really good care of his people in Heidelberg. We all are the same. We work through generosity, caring. There's a fire, 2 in the morning, doesn't matter what's going on, we're there. I'm there. Somebody needs to be looked for, any kind of emergency, we don't think, we're there. And that's how Alaska is too. That's why I came back here. I've lived all other places. This is my home. I love this place because you care. If you see somebody in need, you go help. That's why I moved away from the city. I hated it. I hated watching people see someone hurt and everyone just walk by or take a picture. It's horrible. That's why we live here. So, as we move forward in what we're doing, and from this First Nations perspective, we're cautiously optimistic about what's coming, but we just want to be included. And we don't want to be included by just being asked some questions and then move on. Include us in the business model. Include us in the regulation, because we can help. We really can help, and we're here and we want to. And I'm going to be out there talking to First Nations peoples the rest of this year and next year and however long it takes. They hired me because I'm a person that I'm very, very stubborn. I'm very, very stubborn, and I don't take no for an answer, and this I see as the future. We don't have many choices here in Alaska. We live with our ocean. We need it. So I'm here to work. Anybody wants to get a hold of me after this, I'm here. I work for Ecotrust and Southeast Sustainable Partnership. I was here when AMA just first started. We were just in a little corner, and we were starting something. We were all scared. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know what was going to come to the future. There's lots of questions, and we still have lots of questions. But when we step back, Missy, Robert, others in the room, Tiffany, anybody I forgot, but it's been a long way. Look at how many people in here. We've got markets, There's things that are coming. There's a great future coming, but it's not going to happen if we don't all work together. Like I mentioned from somebody I saw last week, he's a great leader, Sean Seats tribe, Ed DeVille. He said a stack of sticks tied together is very strong, but one stick will break. So we're all the sticks. Are we going to come together? And that's what the state's waiting for. That's what our communities are waiting for. That's what our people are waiting for, is for us to come together. We're stronger together. So, thank you very much. Waiwa. Let's go.
All right, thanks. That's a great way to kick this off, and good reason for you to stick around so you can be part of that bundle.